Let's get one thing straight. Success isn't reserved for the smartest person in the room. It's not just about degrees, titles, or even how hard you work. Success is 80% mindset. You've probably heard that before. But what does that really mean? It means this. If your mind isn't in the right place, it won't matter how many strategies you have. You'll sabotage the opportunity before it starts. You'll convince yourself you're not ready. You'll procrastinate, compare, panic, or freeze, and success doesn't wait around for people to feel ready. It rewards the ones who think like winners before they have any reason to believe they are. Mindset is how you show up when nobody's clapping for you yet. It's how you treat yourself when things aren't going your way. It's the voice inside that either says, "You're not good enough," or "You've got this, keep going," and whichever voice gets louder. That's the one that builds your future. Here's the truth that changed everything for me. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your mindset, the way you think under pressure, the story you tell yourself when you fail. The thoughts you default to when things get messy. People come to me asking for the how to build a business, how to be confident, how to win, and I can give them all the tools in the world. But if they walk away still believing they're not worthy, still afraid of rejection, still unsure if they even deserve more, those tools are just shiny distractions. You see, success is built in the quiet moments. The mornings when no one is watching but you still get up and show up. The rejections that don't make you shrink but sharpen your focus. The days when you're terrified to take the leap, but you jump anyway. The mindset that wins isn't fearless, it's resilient. It doesn't avoid failure, it grows through it. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. So if you're sitting there thinking, "I'm not confident enough," or "I don't have what it takes," let me tell you something that might change your life. You don't have to feel confident to act confident. You don't need all the answers to take the first step. You don't need certainty. You need courage. Every transformation begins with a decision to stop letting your limitations run the show. Every breakthrough starts when you stop asking, "Can I?" and start saying, "Watch me." Because when you shift your mindset, your world starts to shift with it. You walk into rooms differently. You speak with more clarity. You start attracting opportunities instead of avoiding them. You become the kind of person who makes things happen, even before the results show up. And that's when you realize success was never about being lucky. It was about finally believing that you were worth betting on. So let today be the day you stop waiting to feel ready. Start building the mindset that acts as if, until it becomes real. Because that mindset, that's the 80% most people ignore, and it's the reason you won't be like most people. Skill without mindset is powerless because success isn't determined solely by what you can do, but by what you believe about what you can do. Talent, training, and ability can take you far, but without the mindset to fuel those skills, they remain dormant or underutilized. You can be the most technically gifted person in the room, but if fear, doubt, or insecurity dominate your thinking, your skills won't have the chance to show up in their full potential. It's not enough to have ability. You have to believe in it, back it, and be willing to use it under pressure. That belief, that courage, that consistency, that's mindset. You can give two people the exact same skill set and tools and get two wildly different outcomes. Why? Because one believed in themselves, kept going when it got tough, bounced back after rejection, and stayed hungry. The other gave up, froze when they failed, or talked themselves out of opportunities. Skill didn't make the difference. Mindset did. Think about athletes who dominate not just because they're fast or strong, but because of how they think when the game is on the line. Or entrepreneurs who succeed not because they knew everything from day one, but because they were willing to fail forward, keep learning, and take risks. Skill got them into the game. Mindset kept them in it. Without mindset, skill just waits for the perfect conditions to show itself, and in life, perfect conditions rarely come. Mindset is what pushes you to act even when you're not ready, even when you're scared, even when it's inconvenient. A strong mindset takes the skills you've built and puts them into action consistently. It's what allows you to recover from failure without letting it define you. It's what helps you reframe rejection as redirection instead of a personal defeat. It's what separates the people who try once and quit from those who keep going until they figure it out. The truth is, your brain will always find excuses, fears, and reasons not to act. Mindset is what chooses action anyway. Skills are tools, but mindset is the hand that wields them. A tool on the shelf doesn't build anything. It's the craftsman who picks it up, adjusts it, tries again, and keeps creating. That craftsman needs more than knowledge. They need resolve, clarity, belief, and grit. That's mindset. Without it, the tool gathers dust. There are people who have spent years learning, studying, practicing, but they don't take risks. They don't speak up. They wait for permission. They aim for perfection before they ever step out. And in the meantime, someone else with half their skill but double their belief is out there making moves, failing faster and growing. The person with mindset uses what they have, while the person without it keeps preparing. Preparation is important, but not if it becomes the mask for fear. Mindset is what turns preparation into performance. We often think confidence comes from being good at something, but in reality, confidence comes from trusting yourself to figure things out. That's mindset. It's knowing that even if you're not the best, you're capable of growing. Even if you fall, you'll rise again. Mindset is the inner agreement you make with yourself that says, I'm all in. Not because you know everything, but because you've decided not to give up until you do. So many people think their lack of success is due to not being skilled enough, but the truth is, their skill has never had the chance to shine because their mindset kept them hiding. They weren't showing up consistently. They weren't taking the shot. They weren't allowing themselves to be seen, to be vulnerable, to be imperfect, and without that, the skill stays buried. Skill is about performance. Mindset is about persistence. You may perform well once, but only mindset keeps you performing again and again, especially when it's not easy, in any area of life, career, relationships, health, business. Your mindset determines how long you stay in the game. And those who stay long enough, who adapt, evolve, and refuse to quit, they win, not because they were the best at the start, but because they kept going when others gave up. Mindset doesn't mean you ignore reality or pretend everything's fine. It means you meet challenges with a productive, forward, moving response. You recognize fear but don't bow to it. You notice resistance and work through it. You understand that failure isn't final. It's feedback. That doesn't come from skill. That's a choice. That's mindset. You could be a brilliant writer, but if you never believe your words are worth reading, you'll never publish. You could be an incredible speaker, but if your mindset tells you you're an imposter, you'll decline every stage. You could have an innovative idea, but if you fear judgment more than you value impact, the idea stays locked in your head. In each case, the skill is there, but without mindset, it goes nowhere. Mindset is what takes average skill and turns it into extraordinary progress. It's the reason some people start with less and achieve more. They weren't waiting to feel ready. They decided they were enough to begin, and then they became more than enough through action. That's the power of mindset. It upgrades every part of your life. When people look at high achievers, they often assume they were always confident, always capable, always certain. But the truth is, their mindset was built through pressure, failure, setbacks, and resilience. It wasn't handed to them. It was earned one decision at a time, and that mindset made their skills matter. If you want your skills to shine, your mindset has to be stronger than your excuses. You have to believe in your value even before the results come. You have to choose to show up even when the voice in your head tells you to sit back. You have to commit to growth even when it's uncomfortable, because skill without mindset is just untapped potential. But skill with mindset, that's unstoppable. Your thinking shapes your outcomes because every action you take, every choice you make, and every result you achieve begins in your mind. The thoughts you repeat to yourself daily form the lens through which you see your life. That lens influences how you respond to challenges, how you interpret setbacks, how you define success, and ultimately what you believe is possible for you. If you think small, you'll act small. If you think bold, you'll act bold. Whether you're aware of it or not, your thinking becomes your script, and that script directs your life. Most people believe that success starts with circumstances, opportunity, timing, talent, but none of those things matter without the mindset to activate them. The most talented person with a disempowering belief system will never act on their full potential. Meanwhile, someone with average skills and a powerful mindset can build a life far beyond what others expect. The only difference between those two people isn't skill, it's thought. The one who believes it's possible is willing to try, to fail, to try again. The one who doubts their worth waits, hesitates, or never even begins. Their outcome isn't limited by the world, it's limited by their thinking. What you think directly impacts how you feel, and how you feel impacts what you do. If you constantly think you're not good enough, you'll carry yourself with hesitation, avoid taking initiative, and resist opportunities that might expose you. Those actions reinforce the original thought, creating a cycle that keeps you stuck. On the other hand, if you begin thinking you have something valuable to offer, even if you're still learning, you'll approach things with curiosity, courage, and energy. That mindset leads to actions that produce results, which then reinforce that empowered belief. The cycle works both ways, and your thoughts decide which way it goes. Thinking is not passive, it's the beginning of everything. The people who make breakthroughs in life aren't just thinking about what's happening, they are thinking about what's possible. They're not reacting to the present, they're imagining a better future. That doesn't mean they ignore reality. It means they choose to create a mindset that allows them to navigate that reality with power instead of fear. They ask better questions, they tell themselves better stories, and in doing so, they create better results. Your brain is constantly looking for evidence to support your dominant thoughts. If you think the world is unfair, you'll find proof of that everywhere. If you think you're not capable, you'll interpret failure as confirmation. But if you think you're growing, you'll view those same failures as stepping stones. Nothing outside has to change for your results to shift. Your interpretation is what makes the difference. And that interpretation is shaped by the way you think. Success isn't just about what happens to you. It's about how you respond, and your response is always filtered through your beliefs. Do you see problems as roadblocks or puzzles? Do you view rejection as a signal to stop or a redirection to something better? The answer to those questions reveals your mindset, and your mindset shapes your actions. Over time, those actions form habits, and those habits produce your outcomes. If you want to change your life, you have to start by changing the way you think about it. You can't expect abundance if your thoughts are full of scarcity. You can't expect confidence if your internal dialogue is full of criticism. You can't expect growth if you keep telling yourself that people like you don't change. The truth is, you're always one thought away from a new direction. The moment you start to shift the conversation in your head is the moment you start creating a different outcome. Every great achievement begins in the mind of someone who believed it was possible. They didn't wait until they had proof. They made a decision in their thinking and then aligned their actions with that belief. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers wait for the world to change before they act. Doers change their thinking so they can shape the world through their actions. That internal shift always comes first. People often underestimate the power of mindset because it's invisible. You can't measure a thought the way you can measure income or time or results, but that doesn't make it less powerful. In fact, it's the most powerful part of the equation because it determines everything that follows. Your mindset is the foundation. If the foundation is weak, the structure won't stand for long. But if your thinking is strong, your actions become bolder, your resilience becomes stronger, and your results become inevitable. Even the best strategies fail in the hands of someone with a defeated mindset. A person can know exactly what to do but never do it because their thinking says they're not good enough, not ready, not qualified. Those beliefs act like chains, keeping people locked inside their comfort zone. But when you upgrade your thinking, those chains begin to fall away. You start to see yourself as someone who can learn, adapt, and overcome. That self-perception fuels your confidence, which fuels your action, which fuels your results. It all begins with thought. You don't need to think perfect thoughts, you just need to think better ones. Thoughts that empower instead of limit. Thoughts that build instead of break. Thoughts that give you permission to try, to speak up, to show up. Because those thoughts shape the way you engage with the world, and the world responds accordingly. Everything you want is on the other side of a shift in thinking. The relationships you want, the career you dream of, the peace you're searching for, it all starts in your mind. You have to stop being loyal to thoughts that sabotage you. Stop rehearsing limitations. Start practicing possibility, because the life you live tomorrow is being formed by the thoughts you think today. When you look at your results, trace them back to your decisions. And then trace those decisions back to your beliefs. That's where change happens, not at the surface level of action, but at the root level of thought. Your outcomes are shaped long before you take a step. They are shaped in how you see yourself, your situation, and your future. And if you can shift your thinking, you can shift everything else.